Have you ever heard a story that's more than just a fairy tale? A story that teaches us what it truly means to be human. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most beloved and timeless classics of all time, The Adventures of Pinocchio. You might know him as the wooden puppet with a nose that grows when he lies. But Pinocchio's story is so much more than that. Written by the Italian author Carlo Collodi and first published in 1883, this tale isn't just for children. It's a profound journey of transformation, a story about making mistakes, learning from them, and ultimately finding our true selves. Our adventure begins in a quaint Italian village, in the humble workshop of a lonely, kind-hearted woodcarver named Geppetto. Dreaming of a son, he carves a puppet from a magical piece of wood. To his astonishment, the puppet comes to life. He names him Pinocchio, but this is no ordinary puppet. Pinocchio is mischievous, impulsive, and full of life, but he has a lot to learn about the world. The story follows his thrilling and often dangerous adventures as he runs away from home, encounters tricksters, gets turned into a donkey, and is even swallowed by a giant sea monster, all in his quest to become a real boy. At the heart of this tale is Pinocchio himself. He starts off as a naive and rebellious puppet. He's easily distracted by the promise of fun and adventure, often ignoring the wise advice of those who care for him. He skips school, trusts the wrong people, and tells lies that make his nose grow longer and longer. But with every mistake, Pinocchio learns a valuable lesson. His journey is a powerful representation of growing up, moving from childish selfishness to understanding responsibility, empathy, and the importance of family. Then there's Geppetto, the loving father figure. His unconditional love for Pinocchio is the emotional core of the story. Despite all the trouble Pinocchio causes, Geppetto never gives up on him. He represents the unwavering love and support that guides us through our toughest times. His desperate search for Pinocchio, which leads him into the belly of the monstrous dogfish, shows the incredible lengths a parent will go for their child. And who could forget the talking cricket? In many versions, like Disney's, he's known as Jiminy Cricket. This tiny character plays a huge role as Pinocchio's conscience. He's the voice of reason, constantly trying to steer Pinocchio onto the right path. Though Pinocchio often ignores him at first, the cricket's wisdom eventually sinks in, teaching him to listen to his inner moral compass. But the world Pinocchio explores is also filled with less than honorable characters. The sly fox and the cunning cat are masters of deception. They prey on Pinocchio's innocence, tricking him out of his money with promises of a magical field where coins grow on trees. They represent the temptations and dangers of the real world, teaching us to be cautious and to think critically about who we trust. And guiding Pinocchio from afar is the beautiful and enigmatic Blue Fairy. She acts as a benevolent, almost motherly figure. She doesn't just solve his problems for him. Instead, she gives him chances to prove himself. She rescues him from danger, but also allows him to face the consequences of his actions, like when his nose grows. The Blue Fairy represents hope, forgiveness, and the idea that it's never too late to change and do the right thing. The Adventures of Pinocchio is packed with powerful themes and moral lessons that are still incredibly relevant today. First and foremost is the importance of honesty. The most iconic symbol in the story is Pinocchio's growing nose. This isn't just a funny gimmick. It's a brilliant visual representation of how lies become obvious and can tangle us in even bigger problems. The story teaches us that truthfulness, even when it's difficult, is the foundation of trust and integrity. The tale also champions the value of hard work and education. Pinocchio's initial desire is to find an easy way to get what he wants. He skips school to go to a puppet show, and later joins his friend Lampwick in the land of toys, a place with no rules and no school. But this paradise of laziness turns out to be a trap, where irresponsible boys are turned into donkeys and forced to work. This part of the story is a stark warning against the dangers of laziness and a powerful reminder that true success and fulfillment come from effort, perseverance, and learning. Disobedience is another central theme. Pinocchio constantly disobeys his father, Geppetto, and his conscience, the cricket. Each act of disobedience leads him into more trouble, from being captured by the fearsome puppeteer Fire Eater to nearly starving. It's through these harsh consequences that he learns the importance of listening to and respecting the guidance of those who love him. It's a lesson about how rules and guidance are not there to restrict us, but to protect us. Ultimately, the story is about personal growth and the journey to maturity. Pinocchio's transformation from a wooden puppet into a real boy is a beautiful metaphor for this process. He isn't just magically changed, he earns his humanity through his actions. When he finally starts to think of others, works hard to support his father, and acts with courage and selflessness, he proves he is ready. The magic is simply a reward for his inner change. This tells us that becoming a good person isn't about being born perfect, but about learning, growing, and choosing to be better every day. The symbolism in Pinocchio is what makes it so rich and timeless. The transformation from wood to flesh symbolizes our own journey from a state of ignorance and self-centeredness to one of empathy, wisdom, and genuine humanity. Pinocchio literally becomes human by learning to be humane. The magical elements, like the talking cricket and the blue fairy, aren't just fantasy. They represent internal and external forces that guide us, our own conscience, and the mentors who offer us wisdom and second chances. Since its publication, Pinocchio has had an immense cultural impact. It's one of the most translated and widely read books in the world, second only to religious texts. Its story has been adapted countless times for film, theatre, and television, with Disney's 1940 animated classic being the most famous version, while the Disney film is a bit softer than the original book, which is darker and more satirical. It brought the story's core messages to a global audience and solidified its place in popular culture. The lessons from Pinocchio are as important today as they were over a century ago. In a world of instant gratification and digital illusions, the story's emphasis on honesty, hard work, and the consequences of our choices is more vital than ever. It teaches children and reminds adults that maturity isn't just about growing older, but about growing wiser and kinder. So, to wrap it all up, Pinocchio's journey is a roller coaster of mistakes, adventures, and hard-won lessons. He starts as a block of wood, a blank slate, and through his experiences, both good and bad, he carves himself into a real, compassionate human being. It's a powerful story that teaches us that it's okay to stumble and fall, as long as we get back up, learn from our errors, and keep trying to be the best version of ourselves. The story's enduring magic lies in this simple, yet profound truth. True humanity is not something you are born with, but something you must strive to achieve. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back into a classic story. What's your favorite lesson from Pinocchio? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure into the world of literature. See you next time.